If you like to laugh, and who doesn't, then you've come to the right place. Welcome to My Funny House with the Powell brothers. Frank Powell is a real estate broker who was born and raised in San Diego, along with Frank's brother Mark, a real estate broker who also lives in San Diego. Each week, the Powell brothers bring in a special guest comedian to share hilarious real estate stories so you can learn what can go really right and what can go really wrong with home improvements and home ownership. So now, let's get into it. With My Funny House, here are your hosts, Frank and Mark Powell on The Answer San Diego.
Good morning, San Diego. Welcome to My Funny House with the Powell brothers. My name is Mark Powell. I'm a real estate broker, and sitting to the left of me, thank you, is my brother, Frank Powell, who is also a real estate broker.
Good morning. Happy Saturday morning. And today we have a very special two-guest appearance in studio. I'm going to start with who I always start with, Maria Herman on my right.
Hello, thank you. I want a louder applause. I want the biggest applause. And they ended.
They just got the hook.
The applause just fell off the cliff. Those poor people. With me is the one and only Tony Calabrese.
Good morning.
Good morning, Tony.
And the crowd is back with the younger.
Is this the first time we're all in studio?
We're all in studio. We're all sitting next.
And we don't have masks on. Isn't this great?
Yes.
Looks like no plastic dividers.
No.
We're all vaccinated.
We're all vaxxed.
Yes,
I'm vaxxed 3 times.
3 times. Wow.
Yeah, stuck 3 times. Okay, so this week we are representing, we're not representing buyers. However, we do represent buyers, and what we're doing the show on is frequently asked questions by first-time home buyers, not people who are repeat buyers, first-time home buyers. And one of the first questions that we get from first-time home buyers, and Frank knows this, and you and all of us here are seasoned buyers, is should I buy or should I rent? So what do you think?
What do I think? I will say buy, but it depends what situation you're in.
Let's get a realtor. That's
yeah,
why.
exactly. Always buy. Let's say you're in the military and you're going to be, we're in San Diego, so we have a military base, and you're going to be taken off somewhere. Maybe it's better to rent for a while. But I always tell people, if you want to do a good investment that's going to have a good return, historically, you also want to try and buy, or else you're just paying rent to somebody that's going to pay his own mortgage.
Well, some of the advantages of buying are tax breaks. You know, you get a tax break if you buy because you can write the mortgage interest, correct? Tony, you know this because
Absolutely.
You're in the banking industry. You can write the mortgage interest off of your taxes, so it can offset your tax base, where if you're renting, there's nothing to write off. Right. You know, you can't write anything off. So if you're in San Diego and you're a first-time home buyer, it's pretty tough, wouldn't you say?
Well, we're seeing first-time home buyers, but I have no idea where they're coming from because the houses are so insanely increased, right?
Right.
It's just like there's no way a regular job can ever pay for buying a house. Not only that, you have to get the 20% down if you don't want PMI.
Well, what are you trying to say? These first-time home buyers are having irregular jobs?
Yeah. Well, what we say is it's going to take a long time before you start shopping for a house. If you can't just go on one weekend, should I rent or should I buy? This is a plan. Sometimes Mark and I work with people for 5 years before they put an offer on the first house. There's a lot of checks you have to do. It's like a list. We'll go over the list.
This is it. Well,
you need the money.
But
you need the money.
Yeah.
but sometimes I hear from people.
Yeah, you need money.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
But sometimes I hear from people, I'm going to wait it. Maybe the prices are too. I'm going to wait a little. Do not wait if you're in San Diego.
No.
Don't. If you can afford the payment and you have the money to put down, don't wait. It's
right.
just
Wait
in
for
the
what?
end, it never works.
Well, everyone always says, it's a 10-year cycle. It used to be a 10-year cycle. Now we're on 14 years. Nothing's happened. And because of that big thing that happened in 2007, 2008,
Oh, yeah.
people are waiting for some, bad thing to happen. But what we're seeing is the opposite. Everything's going well.
Well, one of the first things you say, are you ready to buy? What is one of the first things you would ask a person?
Do you have money?
Well, yeah.
Do you have a down payment?
Right.
Do you have a job?
Do you have a job?
Yeah, do you have a job?
Because most people can't afford to buy things if they don't have a job. Is that right?
Wow, that's really smart, Mark.
But some people,
Profound.
you don't need to have a job to buy a house because some people they inherited money or They have a trust account.
VA loan.
I'd like to meet some of these people.
I don't trust
Where are
anybody.
they?
Exactly.
I'm Italian. We don't trust anybody.
Yeah, well, you have the Italian job.
Hey, forget about it.
That's right.
Yeah, it's true, because when you have a loan, they do what's called a debt to ratio income, which they go how much do you make and how much do you spend, and that's going to determine how much the bank's going to lend you. So you definitely want to have a job, you want to have a secure job, you want to try and get that full-time work. And if you want a house and if you want something that you really want to buy, you have to be able to want it enough to sacrifice.
And you know what? Order your credit report. And
Right.
if you got anything on there, clean it up before you apply.
Oh, that's a good one. That's going to determine your interest rate, what Tony just said, if you have bad
Well,
credit.
the credit report's a FICO score, correct?
Right.
Well, it's more than just that. It's not just your FICO score. It's your history of what you've paid. If there's any, you might have something on there that was something you bought on a catalog thing online from 10 years
Student
ago,
payment
or whatever.
that you didn't want
and
to pay.
it's showing as a ding on your credit because you didn't pay it on time. So you want to get those things cleared up and off there before you apply for anything.
What did you buy on a credit card 10 years ago, Tony Calabrese? What was it? All right, let's not.
Remember
do
those
that.
photos we were talking about earlier?
Those photos?
Those photos.
Why you have to have a job is because when they're evaluating you for a loan, they want to make sure first that you have a job. Second, you cannot have just gotten the job. Like I was just employed 3 months ago, so you have to have a history of employment. That's what I'm getting to.
A couple of years.
At least 2 years. Right. And then do you have any outstanding long-term debt? They look at what Frank said. I think Frank.
Student loans.
Well, debt to income ratio.
Right.
Like how much are you spending out versus how much you're bringing in every month?
What's your burn rate?
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
that's pretty much it.
but the debt to income ratio now to qualify, I think it's like, your mortgage cannot eat up more than 40% of your monthly income. And so when,
That's tough.
yeah, it's really,
San Diego's really
Once
tough.
you pay your bills, you pay your rent, you pay your whatever you're going to pay, right? Your
It's really hard.
credit card.
well, rent is
But
like,
car
that
loan.
brings up a good thing. Don't go out and buy a car or anything
When you're
else on
looking for a
credit
house.
while you're
Right.
thinking about buying a house.
Yeah, we've had that before. They get so excited about getting a house that they go out and buy a brand new car to move all their
Don't do
stuff.
Or buy a really big car, just in case.
Yeah.
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 Just in
Yeah.
case.
exactly.
I mean,
Mobile home.
Well, as most comedians, we all have vans. So,
So yeah, let's go back to
well,
should I
you'd
rent?
need one for those
Okay,
pictures.
should you rent or should you buy, Frank?
Well, listen, when I was renting, I felt the landlord can always come and say, "I'm going to increase your rent. I'm going to sell. I'm going to evict. You're too loud. You're too noisy. Whatever they want to say." So you have a sense of freedom when you purchase a house. You have a sense of ownership, and it's a pride, and it's something that it's almost like it's also a bank account because you are
Right.
saving when you're paying off your mortgage. You're not only paying off your mortgage, but you have to remember the equity of your house is increasing. So it's like the best saving plan you can have. So that's what you want.
Well,
Buy.
remember people say you make your money when you buy your house, not when you sell it. So if you buy smart, that's when you make your money.
I never heard that before.
Yeah.
I just made it up.
I think people are making
buying
their money.
stupid is what I've done my entire life.
Well, what
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that if you pay too much for a house, it may take longer for you to build up that equity. So-
Doesn't it feel like everybody's doing that now, though?
Everyone wants their
not.
dream house.
People
right
are
now.
just trying to get
Yeah.
in right now.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
What you want to do is you just want to get in, even if it's a condo, if it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath that you don't really want, just get in the game, get into something, because in 2 years you'll be able to decide if you want to bump it up a little bit because you'll have that equity and you'll have that credibility and credit with the banks.
I don't know what it is now, but it used to be that if you bought a home, the first time home buyers, you were in it for maybe 5 to 7 years max before you bought something else or moved up.
Right.
That's probably changed in San Diego because of the price of the homes, but still, I mean, when you're
We call them a move-up buyer.
right,
Yeah, you-
that happens.
So when
What's a move down buyer? What's
That's
that?
me.
Well,
Is that like a caravan?
Those
or
are the people
something?
in 2008 and 2009.
we like people who live in San Diego,
Yeah,
but the best bet is if you sell your house here and you pick another state that has much lower, you get more for your bang. Now, if I sell my house in my neighborhood, I can only move back into my neighborhood because the houses are so expensive. If I sold my house and I moved to all these states that people are going to, whether it's a red or blue state, you can get a much larger house. You can get property. You can get acres. You can get a lot more. However, you don't get the weather that we have, and I'd rather be by the ocean.
But you can buy a house in California that's moderately priced. It's just the cities that are difficult are San Diego, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and San Jose. San Jose with the Silicon Valley stuff, those houses are It's really expensive.
So there are places in San Diego that you can go. There are probably things that you don't dream about or you don't want to really live there, but that's the sacrifice you pay to be in the game.
Well, just go back to
like where?
Campo,
yeah.
these are places by the border that are kind of isolated. A lot of them are manufactured homes. They come with about 2 acres of land, but to get out there, it's like really, really far.
Boulevard.
There's nothing around
Right.
you. If you want to go to Costco, it's an hour trip.
Yeah.
You kind of like have to pack up there. If you don't like neighbors, it's a great thing.
There's things around you, snakes.
Yeah, and Border Patrol, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow, I want to buy a house in Campo right now.
Yeah.
A lot of
Well,
land
actually,
out.
I sold a couple houses in Campo. When you start going out there, it is actually really, really peaceful.
Right.
But the weird thing is, like every time you drive down a road, there's a Border Patrol truck behind you, wondering if my SUV has, somebody
Yeah,
in
it's
it
very
besides
close to the
me.
border.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very
I've been there.
close
I've been to
border.
Campo a few times. I never stayed long, but I've been there a couple.
Well, these are the kind of areas that some people have to look
Okay,
at.
so there's some benefits there's some tax benefits. I want to talk about that. When you're renting a house, you're paying out your rent, there's really nothing to write off. When I mean write off is to bring your tax base down, and especially in California, we're one of the highest tax states in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
So buying a house versus renting is much smarter if you're looking at it from a income standpoint.
The average is 1 bedroom, 1 bath house in San Diego right now goes for $2,000 a month for rent,
Yeah,
If you can find it.
if you can find it. Right.
and that's a good deal.
So something that you also need to do, first-time home buyers, they'll ask, well, do I need a pre-approval letter or do I need a pre-qualification letter? And they don't really know the difference. But I think Frank knows the difference
Wow.
because
So
he's a
when you
realtor. And he's sitting next to me.
when you call up you call up a lender and they start taking your information over the phone, but they don't validate it and they don't verify it with documents. That's a pre-qualification. So far, you qualify. A pre-approval means that you have actually sent them the information. You have whatever PDF, email it to them, hand it off. They can verify that you are who you say you are, and you do what you do, and the debt to income ratio is true. Then they'll give you what's called a pre-approval, which is a much better a letter to have because they've actually approved you, and then it just has to go to a few underwriters to make sure you can get the loan.
Like dating.
Yeah, my wife pre-approved me a long time ago. She's so regretting that now.
I just got the pre-qualification. I slipped in there.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about anybody slipping in anywhere on this show. Stop it.
But there's another
got approved.
important part there is if you do have an approval letter,
Yeah.
you're going to have a rate lock on that letter.
Right.
And the way things are going now, you have to make sure that whoever you're dealing with is going to give you an extension on that rate lock.
Explain what a rate lock
Let's
is.
say right now the rate's 2.6.
The interest rate.
We're talking about the interest
And
rates.
if you wanted a
30-year
30-year mortgage and you're putting 20% down, you got the cash,
Yeah.
and they give you a rate of 2.65. Okay,
That's a good rate.
I'm just guessing. Okay,
yeah.
Well, rates are probably going to go up. You don't know. You want to keep that rate locked in
For 30 days?
For 30 days, 45, whatever it happens to be. Well, what's happening now is the process of getting a loan approved and on the books is taking more than the rate lock time.
Correct.
So you want to make sure that your lender's going to give you an extension on your rate lock,
Yes.
if that even exists, or what's going to happen when that time runs out. Because you can.
Well, what happens if the rate goes
or
down?
down?
Sometimes when you get a pre-approval letter or you have a rate lock, they will say if the rate goes down, we're going to give you that rate.
Right, but not every time.
But not every
Not
time.
every time.
But if the rate goes
But
up,
if you get a sub 3, then you're doing fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to really worry about it, right?
Right.
I mean, come on. Remember back in the 80s, it used to be 18%, right? 18%.
well, how much you need for a down payment now? What should you put for a down payment?
Typically,
20%?
It's 20% to avoid PMI.
yeah.
Okay,
So,
explain what PMI is.
It's mortgage insurance.
Property mortgage insurance.
property mortgage insurance. So the property wants to be insured by the mortgage. So if you put less than 20%, they want to know that if you default, they can take that and sell it. So to not pay that fee, you put down 20%, then they're in a better rate. They go, okay, at least we got 20% of the value. We won't charge him for insurance. We
Right.
kind of know he's going to pay for it, and we got 20% that we can get back if we have to sell this guy's house on the market.
And
after we repo.
it's not just the 20% down. Your credit score has to be certain credit scores. You may have to put PMI, even if you have the 20% down. If you have a low credit
Right.
score,
The best way that I have gotten good credit is that whenever I'm paying a bill,
Pay your bills?
I automatically pay them. So my bank is already going to send it on the first every time, because what happens is even if you have the money and you're late 5 or 10 days, you get dinged. So if you go automatic payment on the things you're going to pay for anyway, the water, San Diego Gas and Electric, whatever you have a trash bill, just put them on automatic. Even if you have a credit card, just go $20 a month. It goes there, and your rate goes up extremely quick. Your FICO score.
Yeah, I will do anything not to get dinged. So
Yeah.
I mean, I know Tony enjoys it, but
I love being dinged.
So when you're buying a house, also you need to put down a down payment. So you have to save for a down payment. We talked about putting 20% down, but some people don't have to put anything down.
Well, those are people that are usually in the military. They get a VA loan. They get 100% because they've done, combat duty, or they served without even being in combat. If you go in the military, you get what's called a Veterans Administration loan, and that's 100%. So the government goes, hey, you sacrificed. You give us at least 4 years. You got out on good terms. We're going to give you a loan, and we're going to get 100%. We're going to give it all to you.
Right. And the loans are backed by the Department of Veterans Affairs.
Right. So that's good.
They're not backed by a bank. They're actually.
And Mark and I do have specialists in the lending industry that specialize just in military loans. So give us a call, and we'll hook you up with the right lender. Because that could get tricky.
I'm a veteran. I've been married 43 years. Do I get anything for that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're a combat vet.
43 years in a row. Is there anything that...
So one thing that
you need a medic.
One thing that that a person needs to take into consideration when they're buying a house, because once you buy a house and you're paying your mortgage, you're not done, because there's maintenance fees to a house, and those can be exorbitant if you bought a house at a lower price that had some deferred maintenance issues. So what are some types of fees that you might have to pay every month in addition to your mortgage so you can prep?
One of them that you don't even think about, but it's a good one, is pest control.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you're in there and you go into a house and there's raccoons in the attic, or there's mice infestation.
How about termites? I love termites.
There's termites, there's black widows, there's scorpions, there's all sorts of stuff that you don't want creeping and crawling in your house. You want to, and cockroaches.
Well, how much does that cost?
I don't know, whatever. It costs like 30.
I have my own pest control
company. It costs like $40 a month, and they come and spray, get the cobwebs off, and spray with a non-toxic stuff anymore, so it doesn't go into the ground.
What if you have a swimming pool?
Well, swimming pool, you're either going to clean it yourself or you're going to have someone pay to clean it, because they get dirty, things fall in them. You want it to be clean. You want to make sure that the motor.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you get the children out.
You want to make sure you get all the children out.
What about the children?
Yeah.
I mean, that's high maintenance.
So another one is a gardening. If you have even if you get land, you got 2 acres of cutbacks you have to do for new fire codes, or you have to just cut your regular grass, keep it maintained. There's irrigation systems, so you have a gardener every month. So these are things that you don't think about, but they add up.
And you could have homeowners fees in certain communities.
If you do have homeowners fees, then you at least save the money. You don't have to buy the gardener. You don't have to worry about the pool. These are why homeowner fees are good sometimes, because
what about painting? You have to paint the house?
Do you have homeowner fees in Campo?
No, they actually give you money to live there. No, you do have no HOAs in Campo.
If you live in Campo, we apologize.
Poor Campo. Yeah. Campo is a good place.
Yeah.
Listen, the best people I met were there. We're moving a house, and we're kind of stuck, and 2 neighbors came from 2 acres away with their trucks and helped us move out. Never met them before. They just go, hey, probably
that's
happy
rare.
That they're moving out. No, but they helped.
They didn't give me a call.
Yeah. And they call us Flatlanders. So I was up there and I said something about San Diego. Oh, you Flatlanders. So I guess they consider themselves mountain people.
Well, another thing that you have to, Frank,
why are we talking about Campo?
Frank, you just mentioned something that's really important. We talked about this yesterday, as a matter of fact. What is this defendable space? New laws that are coming out when regards.
Yeah, all realtors, make sure you look at the new residential purchase agreement, which is there's a document called a fire defense, and you can't just tell people if you're in a high or super high fire zone in San Diego, you must have a defense. It's kind of a point. It's a point of sale. You have to have a certain amount cut back, and if you don't, the person buying it is taking on that responsibility. If they don't do it in a year, the fire department can come and fine you $10,000 the first fine. Then they'll give you 2 weeks and charge you $5,000. So you need to either make sure you do it and it's done before you sell it, or make sure that the people know that one of the things about buying their house legally now you have to maintain a fire defense.
So I'm
All right, I decided I'm going to rent.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That's it.
Even if-
my head's exploding.
Right. Even if you're rent, the owner of that property has to maintain. And because of the fires we've seen, we've all been in San Diego long enough to see that when a fire gets out of control, it takes down neighborhoods that we never thought would be able to even catch on fire. If you've experienced the last 10 years of how fast these fires come.
well. Let me explain about defendable space a little bit because
Go ahead.
when a fire burns, the way other homes catch on fire is through embers that fly in the air. So even if you're not on a canyon rim, you have to have
Up to
you have
3
to have-
miles away.
Yeah, you still are in a fire zone because that ember then flies through the air. Your house is maybe a block or two away. It lands on your house. Your house now catches on fire, and then
Yeah, a couple houses
Couple
catch on
houses
fire.
down, and
you
that's
only
how-
have so many firefighters.
hey, speaking of fires and hot,
Yeah.
let's find out where the hot action is going to be.
Oh, the
comedy.
comedians, right?
That's right.
comedy.
We talk about fire,
comedy.
those depressing things. We need some laughter.
Yeah.
Maria, where can we get a hold of you?
Well, I mean, I'm going to be juggling all these ideas of
Rent versus-
of going into the military, actually, because for 4 years that sounds like a pretty good deal. That
is a good deal.
Yeah. Tony and I are actually going to be on a show
This weekend.
tomorrow night.
Sunday?
And
Yeah,
so we're
tomorrow
gonna have fun. Where is it? Is it in
619 Spirits or something like that?
Well, how do you, okay,
North Park?
North Park.
North Park. 7 o'clock.
if we look up your name, can we find you for
Gosh,
the show?
I hope so. We're in San Diego. There's like 12 other Maria Hermans out there at least.
Really? We'll go
There's
for
only
the,
one
Yeah.
me.
yeah,
but look for Comedy
Tony,
Heights.
Comedy Heights.
I'll be
Tony
in my
Calabrese.
defensible space. It's
Tony,
a
how do we-
closet in the back of my house?
Oh, God. With a hose. How do we get a hold of you, Tony? Social media.
TonyCalabrese.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Yo, Tony.
And then also, if they wanted to book either one of you to be an MC in a show, do you guys do that also?
Yes,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So if you have an event, a special event, you want to book a comedian, you want to book an MC, you can also book Maria.
If you want to get in touch,
ComedyHeights.com.
You want to get a hold of us, you can reach us at powellbrothersrealty.com or you can call us at 858-922-7725.
don't forget to go to YouTube, My Funny House with the Powell Brothers. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you very much.
I
for
love your
listening.
questions. Keep them coming.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for joining us today for My Funny House with the Powell Brothers, right here on The Answer San Diego. Join us next week as the Powell Brothers bring you more funny stories of what can go really right and what can go really wrong with home improvements and home ownership, and bring the laughs to you with yet another hilarious guest comedian. To find out more about the Powell Brothers, be sure to check out their website at powellbrothersrealty.com, or you can visit myfunnyhouse.com. Again, thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next week for My Funny House on The Answer San Diego.